the 3rd of Malachi. The great, over and above all one, Jehovah, who controlleth the host, leans, saying, if you will bring into my storehouse your completed tithe, that my family may be sustained, then you can prove me, and see if I will not open wide windows in heaven, pouring out blessings so many, you will never be able to use them all up. If you will bring, says God, into my storehouse your completed tithe, and you will find, as I have found, that your completed tithe as mine is this. This is Gladys Aylward, the completed tithe, myself. All I possess, all I have, my head, my heart, my feet, my hands, that is me, my completed tithe. And when God asks us to do something, He doesn't ask for one hand or one foot or even one day. He asks for the complete you. Exactly 36 years ago, I went as a girl in my 20s, and I really and truly believed that God told me to go. I was saved, not in my home, I'm terribly sorry to have to say, but after I'd left my home and gone up to work in London, and I was pulled into a church one night by a group of young people who were standing outside that church door. And I that night sat in that church, and for the first time in my life realized that Jesus Christ, Son of the living God, had died for Gladys Aylward. It shook me, it moved me, and it was going to alter my whole life. That next year, I floated around, and before I had joined a church, really knew how to read the Bible or understand very much of prayer in any what I call concrete way, He called me for China. Why He called me, I don't know. I only know He did. I was reading one day a periodical, and in it was an article on China that somebody had written because they had come into the news just a few weeks or days previous, the fact that the first aeroplane had flown over China. And the article pointed out that Western civilization was going in at a great rate to this great land, and yet there must be thousands, it may even go into millions, of people in China who had never heard the gospel. And so I felt that somebody ought to be doing something. Well, weren't the churches, weren't the Bibles, couldn't they read them? When I discovered there weren't, well then somebody ought to be going and telling them. And I now believe that this is my job to see that at least one person went to China for Jesus Christ. And so for that next year and 2 months, every time I went out, I called on somebody, either a relation or a friend or somebody I knew, and later on people who I didn't know but whose names I saw in the paper, with this one idea that I could persuade them that they were the very person who should be going to China for Christ. Well, I'm terribly sorry. Not one of them even took me in earnest. My last try was my own brother. I went home, I caught him in the kitchen, and I proceeded to tell him all that was in my mind. And he laughed, and he laughed, and he thought it was the biggest joke he'd ever heard. And he said, I don't know what you're worrying about them Chinese for. Do you know anything about them? No. Know where China is? No. Been in reading any books about China? No. Well, that's a queer thing, isn't it? Well, what are you worrying about them for? Because they do not know Jesus Christ, and I feel they should. You wouldn't go? What, me? Oh no, I'm not interested. And he made a run from the kitchen where we were standing. He had already gone out from the door when he turned back and, very boy-like, put his head round the door, and this is what he said. If you really believe somebody ought to be going, why don't you go yourself? Bang went the door, and away he got. I stood, I don't know how long. It couldn't be me. Why, I'd never done anything really sensible, and, well, I wasn't educated, I hadn't any money, and I wouldn't know how to begin. I didn't know about sermons, I don't know anything about church. Eventually, I just made God 2 promises. The first, dear Lord Jesus, if you will open the way and show me how, I will go myself. The second, I will never again ask anyone to do something that I believe you are asking me, the person Gladys Aylward, to do. The first promise I kept within the next year and a half by buying for myself a 3rd-class ticket on the Trans-Siberian Railway, packing a suitcase and going. Friend, I have not done what I wanted to. I have not eaten what I wanted or worn what I would have chosen. I have not lived in a house that I would have ever looked at twice. I longed for a husband and baby, and security and love, and he didn't give it. He left me alone for 17 years with one book, a Chinese Bible. That's how I know it, and no other. I don't know anything about your latest novels, pictures, theatres. I live in a rather out-of-dated world. And I suppose you say, well, it's awful miserable, isn't it? Friend, I've been one of the happiest women that have ever stepped this earth. Because that's what God promised. The heavens opening and the blessings tumbling out.